Welcome back to Red Glasses Talks. The title today is The Kindness of God. So I was headed to work the other day, and the street that I head out on from my house, the speed limit's about 30 miles an hour. And this person, and I won't say who it was right on my tail. I get so tired of not just being able to go to work, slow down on a little neighborhood street, and enjoy the morning and my ride. I stop at a stop sign. This person, that far from my car. I take off, boom, right on my tail. Finally, I take a left turn just to get out of the way of the person, and zoom, they're passing cars. They're all over the place. I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that. But anyway, there are a lot of angry people out there. There are a lot of unkind, selfish, bitter people out there. There are a lot of people also who are literally angry with God. And I think a lot of times the anger that people exhibit in a lot of different ways is because it's really a spiritual issue. They're angry with God. They have misconceptions about God. They stiff-arm God. They a lot of times are just miserable people focused on themselves and how their day's gone and not on anybody else. Some people I believe, God is out to get them. So I love the story that this reminds me of a thief, and this is how it goes. He broke into a house. He was looking around in the dark with his flashlight. Suddenly he heard a voice in the darkness say, "Jesus is watching you." The thief just about jumped out of his skin as he thought, where did that come from? Again he heard, "Jesus is watching you." The thief was absolutely terrified. He followed the sound of the voice with his flashlight and heaved a sigh of relief when he saw a parrot on a perch, who once again said, "Jesus is watching you." Well, the thief just laughed. Then he looked down, and at the foot of the parrot's perch was a very large Doberman pinscher baring his teeth. Then the parrot looked down at the Doberman and said, "Sick 'em, Jesus." Jesus, many people think, is against them. If you think that way, you are absolutely dead wrong. And I'm sorry you feel that way and think that way, but you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. So the point is, Jesus is not against you. In Philippians chapter number 2, verses 6 through 8, we read, "Let your attitude in life be that of Christ Jesus himself. For he who had always been God by nature did not cling to his privileges as God's equal, but stripped himself of every advantage by consenting to be a slave by nature, being born a man. And plainly seen as a human being, he humbled himself by living a life of utter obedience to the point of death. And the death he died was the death of a common criminal on a cross." So, what are some conclusions of that? Let me give you several. Number one, God came to us. There's no way in the world we could ever get to him. God came to us in the form of the person of Jesus, the Son of God, God in a body. Number two, some people say, when they become a Christian, the day I found the Lord. Well, friends, you didn't find the Lord. He found you. He wasn't lost. You were. So he finds us. The Lord comes after us. Thirdly, he is seeking you. He has sought you. What does that say to you about him? He loves you. He cares for you. He values you. Let me give you another one. If you have a relationship with Jesus, it's because he chose you first and gave you the ability to respond to him. In and of ourselves, we can't respond to his love and grace. We can't do it. If you have not had a relationship with Jesus, he's seeking you. He's still after you. It's still not too late. Here's one more. While we were still angry, while we were stiff-arming God, while we were cursing him, while we were avoiding him, he came after us. At our worst, he gave us his best. So look at this in Romans 5, verse 8. Yet the proof of God's amazing love is this, that it was while we were sinners that Christ died for us. When we were at our worst, he gave us his best. Think about that. So if you've come to know him, if he lives in your life, why don't you just pause right now and say, thank you. Don't ever get tired and weary of saying thank you to the Lord with your lips and how you live your life. If you do not have him in your life, why don't you stop right now and say, Lord, thank you for coming after me. Thank you for seeking me. I invite you into my life. Clean me up. And from this day forward, help me to become the person you want me to be. Let me tell you something. My conclusion is this: after many years of helping people come to Christ and watching them develop and grow, I have never met a man or a woman in my life who's come to know Jesus for real, who's ever been disappointed or the same again. Oh, the kindness of the Lord.